about as a community, locking at the wrist. This is the fabric of what a cooperative makes a cooperative work, where people are working together with this mutual benefit, and everyone benefits from us locking arms together. And I'm going to talk more about this here towards the end of today's locker room discussion here. But I want to talk to you guys from my head and heart to your head and heart about something I'm very, very passionate about, and that's freedom. We talk about being on the other side of money. And when we talk about this being the greatest, and more important than that, the simplest, and let me really emphasize this, you will not find a project more straightforward and simple to becoming economically free than this. And I'm coming from an evaluated experience perspective. It's just a matter of realigning your thinking about what it is that we're doing, because a lot of people are looking at this opportunity in this project, but they're not seeing it. And what do I mean by that? People don't understand that eyes that look are common, but eyes that see are rare. The eyes are for looking, but you see opportunities with your mind, ladies and gentlemen. See, real eyes, real lies, real lies. Meaning, some of you may have said, I just said the same word 3 times, but I didn't. Real eyes, real lies, real lies. So real eyes, the ones that you look with, real lies, real lies. And what I want you guys to understand, that the eyes are useless if the mind is blind. And we live in a society where we've been conditioned to view our approach to making money in a certain way, so that when we come and something's been presented to us like a project as magnificent as the co-op business, co-op crowd project, we have a hard time, becoming successful. And it's not because this is hard. It's 2 simple steps done one time in order to receive all the time. What's the sticking point? The sticking point is that many people are looking at it, but they're not looking at it with their mind. And if they are, they're looking at it with a conditioned way of thinking based on our educational system. So my goal today is to unlock that for you guys. I mean, I want to talk to you guys so sincerely. I need for everyone to really understand this. I'm going to take you guys on the journey that I've gone through to get to a place of being smarter than money, where I have money working for me, having 7 days of Saturday, being able to wake up when I get through sleeping, okay? It's because I understood that I was imprisoned in my thinking, that I was looking at things until I changed my thinking inside of my thought process and in my mind. That's when I was able to see things and not just merely look at something. Many people are just looking at this project and you're not seeing it for the magic that it is. Today you will, okay? So we're going to talk about real eyes, real lies, real lies, because we've been told a big time lie, you guys. A lot of times we're behaving like free prisoners. And that's kind of like an oxymoron when we talk about free and then prisoners. And the reason why I say free is because we're born free. We really are free sovereign beings, but we've been imprisoned with a thought process that happened in our educational system. There's this book that I read, many years ago, roughly 20 years ago. You guys may want to take it to the lab if you want to. You don't have to. It's called Dumbing Us Down by John Taylor Gatto. And this gentleman, he worked in the New York City school system for well over 30 years. And he was even Teacher of the Year several years in the state of New York. But because he had a sincere care for students and teaching them, he began to realize that the compulsory school system was really a weapon of mass instruction, because compulsory means by law obligation. And what ends up happening is that they just hold us hostage. They imprison our thinking. And many people don't even understand this, but in 1903 or 1908, there was something called the General Education Board that was basically fostered and financed by the Rockefellers, and created an assembly line approach to just teaching and feeding the system with basically artificially intelligent human beings. Basically saying that, listen, we're going to just download them with information that has nothing to do with them becoming economically free in order to feed the machine. And so I want to show you guys something to help you guys understand that literally at 5 years old, when we're dumped into the school system, it pretty much operates like a prison system. Now, Charger, I'm getting ready to share with you guys to my head and not my heart, because I know we have some teachers on the line. All right, that's not what this is about. We're not here to blame anybody, but we have to wake up, ladies and gentlemen, to what's really going on here. so that we can really understand the power of this project and start going out with reckless abandonment, because I want you guys to see how the school system is pretty much in sync with the prison system. So let me show you guys this. I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way here, and I'm going to play this short video for you guys so that you guys can see this, okay? Okay, I want you guys to look at it from this perspective, if you guys don't mind. All right, you look at the fact that what that video was showing you guys is you're looking at the fact that yellow school bus, gray or white school bus, right? When it comes to, prison, you have teachers, what can be considered, let's say, security guards. You have guidance counselors, which can be considered like parole officers. You have principals, which are like wardens, if you will. You saw the lunchroom for schools, and then you see the cafeteria in prison. And then you have recess, pretty much like, the yard in prison and things of that nature. They tell you when to come and go. The meals are pretty much the same. And so what ends up happening, ladies and gentlemen, is that what people don't even realize is that we're born free, sentient beings, but they hold us hostage in our brain. And so when we look at opportunities, the first thing that we're going to say is we're going to defend the current system that has kept us from being free. We're going to say it's a scam, or this is hard, because understand, you see opportunities with your mind. And if your mind has been conditioned in a certain way, it's going to be very, very challenging for you to execute a simple two-step process that we all have to do just one time. And so my goal today, and I went through this, because I was an inmate as well in my thinking. Okay, so I'm not saying that nobody's above anybody else. I'm just suggesting to you that I began to realize that after reading this book and trying thing after thing and having different levels of success and understanding that the educational system was it was used as a weapon of mass instruction more than anything. And if you can begin to understand that, then you'll begin to recondition your mind. And then we're going to show you how to become economically free. But you cannot hold on to the current level of your understanding. Because if education was really important, I want you guys to think about this. If education was really important, then teachers would be the highest paid people on this planet, right? But some of the highest paid people on the planet, they dribble a ball, they throw a football, or they're entertainers and things of that nature, right? But not teachers. So what I'm suggesting is that education as it is today is overrated. It's not going to teach you the real rules of money. It's only going to teach you how to trade in teachers for bosses and report cards for paychecks, but you still have to answer a bell. And so if you can overcome that, or when you overcome that and you unlock that truth, then you'll begin to see how you can become economically free with this two-step process that we have here, okay? So having said that, you guys, one of the things that I did many years ago, and I came across this game. It's called the Cash Flow Game by Robert T. Kiyosaki. It's not like Monopoly. You can't find it in Toys R Us or anything like that. And it basically opened up my eyes to understanding that the name of the game is turning earned income into passive residual income. And that's why I asked you guys this question, because now that we understand that we've been imprisoned in our thinking when it comes to making money, that now what are we going to do about it? We have to understand how money really works, and that it's about turning earned income into passive residual income as quickly as humanly possible. And even this, my daughter here, I want you guys to see this. This is me and my daughter. We're playing at our dining room table. I got 3 beautiful daughters. They're my heartbeats, okay? They're one of the reasons why I grind the way in which I grind, and share this with people and screaming this from the rooftops. And you can see here, there's a long fingernails here. We're playing at our dining room table. If you don't mind, this is my daughter. She's a D1 volleyball player, plays for Canisius. She also is getting into modeling and everything like that. She's a beast. She's a hell of a young woman. She's 21 years old. This is when I took her skydiving a few years ago. She's very, very adventurous. She's a junior. In fact, for her, when she graduates college, One, and she says, Dad, you know what I want for a gift? And I said, what? She wants to go on a 7-day ayahuasca retreat, for those of you that know what that is. So she's a truth seeker. So I'm sharing this with you because I've taken responsibility even with my children, because I understand that our schools and institutions aren't going to do that for them. So it was my job. It's our job to teach our kids, our relatives, our family members and friends, so they begin to tweak their thought process so they can see real opportunity when it's presented to them. And so we played this game here, and it's helping her understand, and I'm preparing her for the real world, not one that she gets from her education, if that makes sense to everybody here. So I want to play this short video for you guys. And this is Robert T. Kiyosaki. So, and I'm not suggesting that you guys have to do this. I'm just offering you guys that if you're going to change things in your life, that you're going to have to begin to have a fun way to educate yourself. You know, a lot of times families get together and they'll play games, right? We love playing games in my household, but we play games that make you think and grow. We don't just play spades. You know, we don't just play games like that. We play games that are also educational and fun at the same time. So it may be something that you guys want to do, but I want you guys to hear what he's saying here, because it's all about the 8 inches in between your ears, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only thing that has to be realigned. It's not going to take a whole lot of time for you to have financial success here. It won't. The moment it unlocks for you, that you understand that you just have to walk through those gates, those prison gates, and do the 2 steps and teach people that, I promise you, you're going to see your life change radically. It'll be like what took us so long. Okay. So let me go ahead and play this for you guys here real quickly, and then I'll come right back afterwards. Okay.
This is your greatest asset between this year and this year. And so that game teaches you finance. How do you finance a deal and all this stuff? But you have it by playing, having fun. You know, you learn, this is the real board game here. This is a financial statement. And when I go to my banker, this is what my banker wants to see. Income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow. This is the only game in the world that teaches that. So you sit there, you're playing, you're having fun. So you're learning by having fun. And so when I go to my bank, what happened in 2008 when Lehman came down, Lehman Brothers came down, I went to my banker and I borrowed $300 million. You know, why did he lend me $300 million? Because I had this. Right. My banker has never asked me for my grade point average. What school I went to. This is your report card. So the cash flow board game, financial education, is the only game that teaches people this here. And as you know, your background in banking, this is what they want to see.
Yeah.
But they don't teach this in school. It's the most boring subject that there is. So you play this game here and all this stuff, and you're learning, and this is your greatest asset between this year and this year, but it's also your greatest liability, especially if you're a college professor or something, because you think, you know, knowing the right answer is that, no, this is what they want to see. They don't care if he went to Princeton, Yale, or Harvard. You know, I mean, look at Steve Jobs. He never finished school. Disney never finished school. Michael Dell never finished school. So we got to teach people capitalism. And so that's my board game there.
All right. So here's the thing I want you guys to understand. And I'm just sharing with you guys my process. I'm not saying that you guys have to do this, but I'm just sharing with you. It's like, how does it happen? Why do some people have success in a project like this and other people don't? It's because they had to adjust their thinking. And so what you see here is an income statement, right? And this was the board game here, and you have your income, and you have your salary, but you have your interest, dividends, real estate, your businesses, co-op would be that, your expenses here, okay, and things of that nature. And the whole name of the game is to basically turn earned income into residual passive income as quickly as possible. Make sense? Because your expenses here, all right, you want to make sure that those become higher than your residual outflow or your residual bills. And when you do that, this game teaches you. You can be a pilot, you can be an engineer, you can be a doctor. And it's always fascinating when you sit down with people and you play this game. You become so aware of the lack of financial education that people have. So what ended up happening is that my wife and I, we played this game in real life. We put our real numbers on this many years ago in real life and began to play this game. And as a consequence of doing it, it allowed us to become economically free. Okay. So I want you guys to understand that it's all about financial education. So becoming smarter than money is you have to understand income statements. It doesn't matter about a GPA. We all know a whole bunch of smart, educated, broke folks because we're not taught about real money in our schools and institutions. So the name of the game is to turn earned income. All right. So we take a one-time out of pocket. All right. 2 simple steps, one time. Teach other people how to do that one-time 2-step execution to turn into passive residual income that becomes greater than your monthly responsibilities. And that's how you become smarter than money and become economically free. Make sense, everybody? So here's the thing I want to share with you guys here real quickly. I'm going to break this thing down because I need for you guys to really, really, pull in and understand this for yourself so that we can collectively open people's eyes and have them not merely looking at this project, but seeing it for the genius that it really is. The cash flow quadrant is 4 ways in which we all produce income: linear income and leverage residual income. Because of our schooling institutions, which allows us to become free prisoners, what we end up doing is we trade our teachers for bosses and our report cards for paychecks. But guess what? We're still doing time, you guys. You're still doing time. You're still doing your bid, right? And this is what people don't understand. And so if you don't have a reference point and you don't become aware of anything different, when you're talking to people, you're allowing people that are imprisoned in their thinking to knock you out of this project because of their imprisoned thinking. But you know better. All right. We've been at this for the last 2.5, 3 years, holding it down. People have come and gone, left and right, all these different things. But as a leadership team, we're committed to the project. All right. We know that this is the greatest project on the face of the planet. So as an employee, you're just trading time for money, which stands for just over broke. Some people become self-employed, but that's worse than having a job because you now own a job. I think I've shared the story with you guys. I have a gentleman in town. He's no longer in business. So he had some health complications. He has a great has the best Mediterranean food I had tasted in this city. His name is Sam. And basically, when he wasn't there, he couldn't afford to take off because the food quality wasn't the same. He had people stealing from him, and he was standing on concrete all day. I mean, he loved what he did, but he started having back problems, had to have back surgery, got addicted to pain medication. So his health dwindled because when you become self-employed, you own a job. It's so much worse than having a job. And sometimes people who are self-employed, they think they own a business, but they don't because they don't have any leverage. So I'm sharing this with you guys because this is what we're dealing with. You're dealing with people whose mind has been imprisoned and they're looking at this, but they're not seeing it. Okay. Now, if you want to be free, all right, you want to play on the right-hand side of the quadrant. Notice here, you're talking about 95% of the population is fighting over 5% of the wealth on the left-hand side of the quadrant, feeding the machine. This is the side we want to be on, the right-hand side. This is the side that our project is on. And it's going to take a different set of rules and a behavior and a thought process. You're a business owner, ladies and gentlemen. We all are. We own a system. And system is short, is an acronym for save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. This is where 5% of the population is playing on, but they control 95% of the wealth. This is where the 5% have peeped the game. See, the 5%, they came over here. They realized they were in prison. They did a Shawshank Redemption, which is one of my top 3 movies. We'll touch more on that here in a second. Top 3. If you haven't seen that movie, you got to take that movie to the lab. So they did a Shawshank Redemption. Only 5% of the population has broken free and came over here. You're a part of the 5%, ladies and gentlemen. But the key is don't let anybody steal your joy and put you back in prison. There are people that I grew up with. I'm from the Bronx, lived in different parts of the country. There are people that I grew up with that's no longer with me. There's even some of my friends that would, because they were so institutionalized, that they would commit crimes on purpose just to go back to get 3 square meals because they didn't know how to live freely on this side. There are some people that will get involved in this and they'll go back to their job because they don't know how to be free sovereign beings. So it's all about a system. What we have here, we have a 2-step, one-time execution system that we duplicate, and we only have to do it one time. That's what we have. And what's going to happen is you have people working with you. So we're dividing our efforts, but multiplying our collective results. So that's why it's important that you plug into new members orientation. You plug into the overviews. You plug into locker room, okay? And all of these different things. You work as a team. And then the other thing is then you're able to take your money, you're able to become an investor here, where your money's it works for you. Do you guys understand that with our project, we're kind of doing both one and the same? That we're literally having a system where we're working together. All of us are taking one time out of pocket, but we're really kind of like investing, even though this isn't an investment opportunity, we're investing into an artificial intelligence that's been baked into the co-op wallet that is going to have our money working for us powerfully for the rest of our lives. We simply give one time systematically in order to receive all the time. So understand this, you guys. On the left-hand side, where people are in prison, the goal is money is the goal, the how-to. You know, people always ask, well, what's the secret sauce? How do you do it? How do you do it? Why are some people successful and all that? Well, on the right, that's not the right question. You want to know why. Freedom is the goal. Freedom is the goal, not money. See, the people that know how, right? They work for the people that know why. Because people who are on this side of the quadrant, they're not doing this because they want to make a whole lot of money. They're doing this because they want to be free. See, it's about a special kind of money. It's the quality of the money on the right-hand side. It's residual. It's reoccurring in nature. It's not linear. Make sense? The other thing on the left-hand side, where people are still in prison and still doing time, formal education will make you a living. It'll keep you alive. But on the right-hand side, self-education can make you wealthy. You become self-aware. Every time, for those of you that have been involved in other opportunities and projects before, if you really put your time and energy into it, you should have walked away from it being a better person. You should be able to have evaluated your experiences with those other projects so that when you come and look at this, compared to anything else you've been associated with, you should be able to like, my God, this is the needle in the haystack. This is the holy grail of opportunities. When I hear people look at what we're doing and they think it's gifting, that is someone that is not self-aware. How can you even remotely compare gifting to this or network marketing to this? It's a completely different animal. And if you're self-aware, you'll see it as different, okay? The other thing, graded on not making mistakes when you're over here in prison, all right? They don't want you to make mistakes. They want you to follow rules and orders, get in line, follow rules and orders. As a free sentient being, you're graded on learning from your mistakes. You know, my grandson, he's less than 1 year old. He finally started walking. But when he was stumbling and everything like that, it was never an idea that he wasn't going to learn how to walk. But that's just how we learn in life. We learn from making mistakes, but they condition us to not make mistakes. We become fearful of taking action. We become fearful of trying to escape prison. See, that's a conditioning. But how we learn as humans is shown. You learn by experiencing things. Make sense? So learn how to do a presentation. Learn how to do a new member orientation. Learn how to open up a non-custodial wallet. Learn how to purchase crypto. It's okay. It's okay. Okay? On this side, you're personality dependent. You compete. All right? You're competing. This team, that team, you know, you go into the schoolyards or you go into the prison yards, you got cliques and everything like that. You're competing one clique against another clique. On this side, we're system dependent. We're cooperative. We complete each other. We don't compete. It's a different animal. All right. I don't get caught up in, team names and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I just want us all to win. We're completing each other. We're not competing with one another. All right. The other thing on this side, they give their money to those who are, in quote, smarter than them, financial advisors, which are nothing more than glorified salespeople, right? I think I shared this with you guys before. I have financial advisors always coming at me, trying to, have me part ways with my money. And they give me their spiel and everything like that. They show me mutual funds and diversification, all that kind of stuff. A great presentation. But every last one, every time I ask them to show me their investment portfolio based on what they're trying to sell me, None of them can show me that. Guess what? You know why? Because they don't make their money that way. They make their money by selling me on the theoretical idea. They get paid on maintenance fees and commissions, not based on what they're selling me. But because we're not taught about money in our schools and institutions, and they get a piece of paper being certified financial planners, we easily part ways with our money and give them to glorified salespeople. But over here, we put our own money in a business and continue in education. That's what business owners and entrepreneurs do. Okay. Left-hand side, they're being leveraged. Your 9 to 5 is somebody else's passive income, you guys. And I'm not here to knock anybody's hustle in terms of if you have the job right now, you have to do what you got to do. I get that. But remember, the name of the game is to turn earned income into passive residual income as quickly as humanly possible. Okay. So you're being leveraged over here on this side. On the right-hand side where freedom is, we're using leverage. OPM, OPI, OPE, other people's money, other people's idea, and other people's effort, right? So we're using other people's money, including our own. When I put my one time out of pocket, that was someone else, 10 other people using some of my money. That's okay. All right. We're completing with one another. OPI, other people's ideas. David Rosen created this system. We're leveraging his idea, other people's effort. We're just basically leveraging everyone giving it forward to 3 people one time. But it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. Nobody's being taken advantage of like they are on this side here. All right. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And I want to share this quick video with you to help you guys understand that we have to break out of that prison mentality. That's the work that we have to do. We have to work harder on ourselves than the business, because what's required to be successful here is simple. I'm talking paint by number simple. But we have to get busy living or get busy dying. And I want to play this clip for you guys, and I don't want to steal anything if anybody hasn't seen this movie yet, but please, it's a great movie to watch with your family, your significant other, The Shawshank Redemption. And I want you to see in this part, I want you to see how his good friend in here had that conditioning of his thinking, and how Mr. Robbins in here was looking to get out of it in this whole scenario here. So I'm going to play this for you guys real quickly, and then we'll continue.
You think you'll ever get out of here? Me? Yeah. One day, when I got a long white beard and 2 or 3 marbles rolling around upstairs, they let me out. I'll tell you where I'd go. Zihuatanejo. What? Zihuatanejo. It's in Mexico. A little place on the Pacific Ocean. You know what the Mexicans say about the Pacific? No. They say it has no memory. That's where I want to live the rest of my life. A warm place with no memory. Open up a little hotel right on the beach. Buy some worthless old boat and fix it up new. Take my guests out charter fishing. Zihuatanejo. In a place like that, I could use a man that knows how to get things. I don't think I could make it on the outside, Andy. I've been in here most of my life. I'm an institutional man now. It's like Brooks was. Wow, you underestimate yourself. I don't think so. I mean, in here, I'm the guy who can get things for you, sure, but outside, all you need is the yellow pages. Hell, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Pacific Ocean? Shit. About to scare me to death, something that big. Not me. I didn't shoot my wife, and I didn't shoot her lover.
Whatever mistakes I made, I paid for them and then some. That hotel, that boat, I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think you ought to be doing this to yourself, Andy. This is just shitty pipe dreams. I mean, Mexico is way the hell down there, and you're in here, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, right. That's the way it is. It's down there and I'm in here. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
Get busy living, or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
Damn right. Get busy living or get busy dying. Please, if you haven't seen that movie, please check it out. I promise you, it is such an inspirational movie, and it really is an allegory in terms of how we have been conditioned and how we have to break free of that conditioning and how to leverage against a system of oppression. And so the bottom line is this, you guys, the 2 steps, we want to make it a binding agreement. Okay. And when I talk about a binding agreement, obviously there's no contract here, but a binding agreement amongst ourselves that when you got introduced to this and you got your 3 to 4 tokens, you're locking arms with that person. You're locking arms with the community, and you're not quitting just because it took you 2 months, 3 months, if you've been in 6 months. Quitting is not an option. This must be done. And as everyone takes on this mindset, a lot of times people are getting involved in this project and it's a non-binding agreement, meaning like, okay, I see it theoretically on paper, but hey, if I don't get this thing done in 1 month, I'm out of here. I'm going to go into the next shiny object. And when that doesn't work, I'm going to go into the next shiny object, into the next one, and the next one. See, anyone that's ever not completed this and went on to something else, it wasn't because the system doesn't work as advertised. It's because they are still imprisoned in their thinking. They're still not looking in the mirror at themselves and understanding that they have to become better, become more aware of what's keeping them from their actual manifestation of what it is that they want. So we got to make it a binding agreement. That's why we show up every Saturday for Locker Room. Okay, we've been at this for now 3 years because it's done. It is done. We're not going anywhere because you're not going to find anything that remotely comes close to this. Make sense? So we're building an army. We each do a little one time to all receive a lot. All right. And if it takes you 3 months, okay, so be it. When you cross that finish line, we're going to be there cheering for you. All right. But now if you begin to unlock our thinking collectively, and I'm not on my soapbox here, I'm just talking with you guys right now, from my head and heart to yours. Once we unlock this, we should be having this happen in record time. Okay, where people are getting this done in an hour, a day. All right. Really, really, really quickly moving forward. So let's talk about the actionable intelligent 2 steps. We talked about it last week, but repetition is the mother of learning, because I want you guys to see how simple this really is. No matter what anyone else says that you've talked to, okay, understand why they didn't see it, because they're looking at it. They didn't see it. They looked at it, but they are still holding on to their conditioning. You no longer want to hold on to that conditioning. You have to look at them empathetically and go on to the next person that wants to be free. Okay, so here we go. The fundamental building blocks, and we're talking about, here's the 10X. This is the fundamental building blocks that's going to trigger the automation. We want it, all of us collectively, you want to be able to do this yourself. You don't want to just wait on someone that's been in it longer than you to continue to do this. You should be able to do this with, after a week, definitely after a month. You should feel comfortable in learning how to do it, but you have to be willing to be bad before you're good and good before you're great at anything. It's like a child learning how to walk. Make sense? So step number 1, we all know you're going to buy the 4 wallet activation tokens for a one-time out-of-pocket. $379 plus exchange fees, and you get these, $328 tokens and one $280 token. All right, because we're getting paid residually to simply open up banks on the blockchain one time. You're going to simply choose 3 friends to give a $28 activation token to within 7 days or less, one time, who will commit to doing steps 1 and 2 one time. That's it, you're done. Then the artificial intelligence takes over at that moment in time. So here are the 2 simple steps. We want everyone focusing on this here. All right. When you go ahead and give a $28 token to 3 people, one time, predictably, you're going to receive $288.75 in the 10X version. And what that is the standard $26.25 and the 10X $262.50. That's where the $288.75 comes from. So when you see us do the demo, and when you do a demo for someone, they see the predictability in it, how the artificial intelligence and the co-op wallet, that is what it computes, input, output, every time, all the time, every time. Now, in 7 days or less, now that we are unlocking people's thinking, they're going to do the exact same thing. And guess what's going to happen? Predictably, they're going to receive $288.75 just as you did. Works the same way for everyone. But the unavoidability, right? Because of this one-time execution, you've got to increase. You're now up to $412.50. So that's $37.50 in the standard and $375 in the 10X, totaling $412.50. But not only did you receive an increase, but guess what? 8 other people also saw their predictable, unavoidable cash flow go up, and they knew nothing about what happened here. You guys understand that there are some of you, that every last one of you that have gotten involved and gotten your 3 to 4 tokens, that there are people that receive predictable, unavoidable cash flow because of what you did, and you haven't even met them yet. And the same thing is going to happen for you. That literally speaking, you're talking about being able to create a global bank. Let me help you guys understand what I mean by that. Okay. There, I just did my part, and there are people that did their part. I didn't know who knew someone who knew someone who knew someone. And as a consequence, there's people that's now in the Netherlands, Belgium, the UK, the Caribbeans, Canada, Philippines, all over the United States of America that's responsible for the cash flow that I'm receiving. That's an international bank, ladies and gentlemen. I'm able to transact with them too. From my co-op wallet to their co-op wallet, we can do transactions. That is an international bank. And it's going to happen for each and every one of you, because you don't know who knows who knows who knows who. But there are going to be people that's going to get involved for their own reasons, because when they look at this with a sober mindset, they're going to be like, oh my goodness, this is the simplest thing I've ever seen in my life. So the subscription, let me go ahead and follow through on this. And the 10X, the subscription is $308 every 28 days. And then what that is, it's the $280 plus the 28. So it's the standard and the 10X combined. But because you're at $412.50, because you've completed the 2 steps, everybody just focus on this. Get this done yesterday. You're left with $104.50 to the good in cash flow, but it's going to continue to scale and grow exponentially, because guess what everyone else is doing? Everyone else is focusing on their $412.50. Everyone just focus on your $412.50, right? And now you don't have to come out of pocket again. Your residual cash flow continues to grow and scale, and it's residual in nature, and it's infinite. There is no saturation point here. We're not dealing with something that's trendy, and that's what I love about this. We're not talking about a weight loss product. We're not talking about a stem cell. We're not talking about a lotion. We're not talking about anything that's here today and gone tomorrow. We're talking about opening up digital wallets, which we all agree it's the organ that does the sending and the receiving of money, which is the operating system of this world. Money cannot and will not be able to move without a digital wallet, ladies and gentlemen, as we're moving to a cashless society. So what we're doing is not a trend. This is here long term. Okay. So the one-time execution provides that for us. The standard version. Here are the numbers on the standard version. $26.25 when you give a $28 activation token to 3 people in 7 days or less, predictably. When they turn around and do it predictably, they're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to receive $26.25. But as a consequence of that execution, you're now up to $37.50, and 8 other people also receive an increase in their unavoidable cash flow. One-time execution for everybody. This is the breakdown. You're at $37.50 on the standard version. The subscription is $28. You're left with $9.50 to the good at that moment in time. Here's what happens. When your co-op wallet accumulates $280, you will automatically be upgraded to the 10X version, automatically. And when your 3 entities accumulate $280, they will automatically follow you into the 10X version. So now you have both of these success lines operating simultaneously, yet independently at the exact same time. As everyone's completing the 2 simple steps, how many times? Just 1 time. All right, people, this is so simple. It's paint by number simple. This is a paint by number simple equation here. Okay, so we're not going to go all the way through this, but you guys see the drill here. This is in the 10X version. And the artificial intelligence that's baked into our wallet, this is how it behaves. You know, even though it's showing you guys, demonstrating it happening, you know, one after the other, it doesn't happen that way. It happens instantaneously this way. But we're just giving you the breakdown. The co-op wallet, the artificial intelligence does this on our behalf. Now, this could be 10 weeks, first week, second week, 10 weeks. And this is the number we're talking about here, $1.7 million. All right. I believe in my heart of hearts, as we continue to educate people and really open up people's awareness, and, you know, in terms of them understanding that they've been imprisoned with their thinking and that we have all green lights here, we're going to start seeing this happen in our organization. We're going to start seeing this happen like clockwork. We're going to start seeing people having their mortgage payment taken care of in the next, 3 to 5 weeks easily. And let me tell you guys something. When that starts happening, when that begins to happen, everyone's job becomes easier because the proof is going to be in the pudding. And it has nothing to do whether the co-op wallet works as advertised. It has everything to do with us getting out of our own way and starting to recognize that our precondition, our imprisonment of thinking is the only thing standing in our way. And the gates to freedom have finally been opened, but we can't allow our wills to be beaten down so much that we don't walk through it. That's the only thing in our way is us. Okay? So here's the deal. We'll each give 1 time. And guess what? The co-op wallet shall make sure you receive all the time. That's the fist bump. The singularity is here. And what the singularity is how humans are going to become more machine-like and machines are going to become more human-like. All right? It's here. A lot of you heard about chat GPT, voice activation, all these different things. Blockchain plus AI, which is in our co-op wallet, equals a self-driving economy, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone, for every man, woman, and child. It does not particularize here. We just got to get out of our own way. We got to stop being, giving so much, weight to the good opinion of other people that are so educated, if you will. They've been conditioned. That's it. I hope you guys have gotten something out of today's training. I wanted to really spend some time with that we got to really begin to hone in on our skills and not allow ourselves to get caught up emotionally in any negativity. Okay, there's no room for that. Don't wish it was easier. It can't get no easier than this. Just wish we were better. We just have to get better, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go ahead and do this real quick. I'm going to stop my screen share here. Hopefully you guys were able to get something out of today's training. Let me go ahead and come back up here. Hopefully you guys were able to get something.